Hi, my name's Jordan Taylor. I have a company called Paddle Sport Institute that has started running trips on the Maine salmon. So this is a video to think about packing for a summer Western River multi-day, especially if you're coming with me on the Maine salmon. I'm going to start with the gear that's probably most familiar to all of you. This is what I have been wearing on the water out here on the salmon this year. It's fairly pared down. Usually I'm wearing board shorts, some sort of wool top, and a shorty splash top. This doesn't have latex gaskets. And then obviously the essentials like helmet, PFD, spray skirt, and some closed-toed shoes. I usually put some socks under there. There's a fair bit of sand where we stop. And so the socks keep the sand from like getting between my toes and irritating the skin of my feet. Some folks have prioritized more of a sun hoodie, especially as we get lower in the canyon and the weather and water get a little warmer. And some folks have worn a long sleeve splash jacket, but folks that have worn like full long sleeve dry tops have tended to get over warm pretty quickly. If you know that you are someone who gets cold while kayaking, by all means pack that long sleeve dry top. Nobody has been wearing dry suits. The water temperature has been in the low 70s. By the time we're on the water, the air temperature starts in the 60s and gets up into the 80s. Thinking about camp layers over here. At the top of my camp dry bag, which is the big orange one with stuff on it there, I keep a changing cloth. This is bigger than your average bath towel. It's maybe more like a beach towel, but this is a little lighter weight than a beach towel. That way I can change right in the middle of camp without making anyone uncomfortable. And then this is what I've worn in camp most camps. This is a wool long underwear, top and bottom, board shorts, just to protect the seat. As you can see, the wool isn't the most durable fabric. If it's really warm, sometimes I'll just be in board shorts, and this is a light cotton long sleeve shirt for sun. On slightly cooler mornings, I have put a puffy over this. And continuing to think about layers for my top, I brought a spare set of wool long underwear and fleece jacket and pants, but I really haven't taken these out of the bag. And I guess on some cooler days I have worn my long underwear bottoms under my board shorts, and so I brought a spare set in case those didn't dry and I wanted to wear them to bed. But out here everything is dried every day before I go to bed, so I just put it away or put it back on. I also, from other desert river trips, decided to bring some 2-ply denim. I wore this at the first camp where it was cooler, and then haven't brought them back out again. So that would be sort of optional. Similar kind of option would be some sort of durable trail pant from a synthetic cloth. And yeah, I think pretty optional this time of year in July and August. And then finally, I did bring rain gear, top and bottom, and we've had a total of about 45 minutes of rain the whole 6-day trip. I did put my rain jacket on for that, didn't put the rain pants on. You can see I have a pair of leather boots there, a couple pairs of socks. I've been either barefoot or in flip-flops at every camp. Haven't needed those. Those could be useful for some sort of side hike, although my river shoes are just as good as hiking shoes. Here I have a little zip duffel to help organize all of this in my big bag. That is not necessary, but you could also use a stuff sack or especially a compression sack. Then finally, this stuff sack here is my sleeping bag and pillow. The compression sack is really great for those, just so it doesn't take up more room in your dry bag than you need. I have room in my system for a tent. It's really just a rain fly and a pole with some stakes. If you have a pretty compact tent, it could fit in your big dry bag. But also the outfitter provides some large dry bags for all of the tents to go into. And so if you have a larger tent than that, don't worry, you're not expected to keep it in your gear. And then the last piece to highlight is under here. This is called a Paco pad. It's one of the better river sleeping systems. The outfitter has them available for rent. Those can just get strapped on top of the cooler or raft boxes, so they also don't need to go into my dry bag system. If you have something like a Thermarest, that can go in with your sleeping bag. Once you start to get bigger and bigger, it gets harder to fit into your system. So if you're trying to pack your bags at home, or trying to imagine how all this stuff fits, a great way to save space would be to pay the small rental fee for a Paco pad from the outfitter. I'm going to talk about this group of things. This is what rides in my day bag. You can think of your day bag like a piece of checked luggage on an airplane. Fits under the seat in front of you. This will ride on the lunch raft, the raft that stays with us. And in that I keep everything that I might want during the day. So sometimes if it's cool right until we launch, I'll put my puffy in there just because I wore it till the end. And I also keep things like sunscreen. This is the remnants of a bag of Gorp. I keep any medications that I might need, especially during the day, or just want to keep track of. It really is just a simple organization system, things I want during the day, or things I don't want to have to dig into my large dry bag to find when I'm at camp. There is not a lot of critter pressure, or we sometimes see bears, but bears generally aren't coming into camps like in other river corridors. So another way to think about this small bag is you could put anything smelly that would attract small rodents or larger mammals, and then leave it in the kitchen area of camp instead of bringing it with you into your tent. That is fairly casual in this Salmon River corridor. And then underneath this is my large dry bag, which fits most of the things on this tarp quite easily. This is a slightly different style than you would get from the outfitter. If you're using a dry bag from the outfitter, they're actually, they hold more. You just need to think about packing from bottom to top. In the bottom go the things that you would need latest in the evening. In the top, you might want the things that you change into right when you get to camp. So that's my overview of how I'm thinking about packing. Individual results may vary, and you can still ask me lots of questions before the trip. Just know you run out of cell service before we get to the put-in, and Amazon doesn't deliver to Corn Creek.